Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 114. It's in the bag. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and irascible Dungeon Master, Michael Corley. And with me tonight on a special solo adventure is Lee. Lee, tell everyone who you will be playing.
G'day everybody, my name is Lee and I will be playing the Kenku Rogue, who... You should know his name by now and I shouldn't need to say it. But I will anyway. It's Distant Bells.
It is Distant Bells. Bong. Bong. And when we last left our... what happened to our main characters? Why, they got sucked into Dreamland. The artificer, Prognati, who the team had been searching for months now, finally located him, only to find that he had put a self-imposed sleeping spell on himself, using the hearthstone of a hag, which he was holding on his chest. The rest of the team had gone into his dreamscape, only to leave Distant Bells behind as a guardian, mainly because Distant Bells didn't want nothing to do with that. Tell us, Lee, why did Distant Bells exactly not go in?
Distant Bells' history with magic is one of incredible distrust. Read and listen to the backstory on the website. Yeah, so this kind of... For listeners already, he kind of doesn't like traveling in Audrey, let alone going into somebody else's dreams. That's not going to happen. So, yeah, he opted out. He opted out hard. Nope.
Yeah, just a hard nope on that. Sorry, I had to burp there. I don't know why I said I had to burp there, because I'm going to have to delete that too. But
no, leave it in. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
There you go. I'm just going to leave that part in. You're not going to hear the burp, ladies and gentlemen, but you're going to hear the fact that I muted it.
Just find an incredibly exaggerated, horrifically long burp and just put it in
there. Oh my God. This is what Dungeons and Dragons is all about, people. So you are technically in the bedroom of Prognati, which is right next to his workshop, which is a huge room right behind you. Mm-hmm. And so I want you to imagine, here is Distant Bells watching the inert form of Prognati. The hearthstone is on his chest. Both of his hands are holding it. There is a portal-like hole over his heart, and he is asleep. And behind you is just the of this incredibly magical, amazing filled workshop filled with every conceivable magical item in various stages of construction. What would Distant Bells do?
First thing he'd probably do would be cover Prognati with a blanket. Okay. Because the sight of him is disturbing. Since he has a hole in his heart, there's a portal in where his heart should be. That's kind of upsetting. So he'll cover that up with like a sheet or just something thin. In his mind, it hides Prognati's body and also could make for some funny stuff if the crew comes back and they end up covered in a sheet, because that would be funny to him. He has a little bit of a mischievous side.
I love the idea of they did touch the portal to go in, so I love the idea of you trying to put the sheet on and then it just sucks in the sheet, and like you keep throwing, and then now you're just like chucking other things.
Yeah,
on it,
no, let's go with that. If that actually would probably be pretty funny. Like if that happened, you just kind of put a sheet on and it disappears. He's like, get another sheet. Get a blanket, grab one of the pillows and put it over the hole. Just he knows it's futile, but he's going to keep trying to do it because he just doesn't want to look at it until he just runs out of stuff, and he's just like, and like if there's a divider or something, you can just kind of put between the rest of the room and the bed. He'll put that there, just so he doesn't have to look at the body.
It's going to be so fun. The listeners, this is being somewhat recorded out of order, and so I'm so excited to have these items suddenly appear in Dreamland.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. as they just foom, 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 foom. Yes, this is going to be very, very good. But eventually, and there is absolutely the classic like French divider dressing thing with like very fancy clothes laid over the top. If you want to place that between.
Yeah, I think he'll do that. I can only imagine. I cannot wait to hear Tix's reaction to having all this stuff just appear. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, he'll just grab a divider and just kind of put it like as close to the bed as possible, so that he's got as much room left in the rest of the area. He just doesn't want to look at the body. That's unnerving.
Gotcha. It is very unnerving. It's very that scene in the original Iron Man where she had to reach inside his chest. It's not great.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. It's not good. So I definitely understand him doing that. I want y'all to imagine this little raven rogue man just dragging across the divider and scooch, 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 getting it just right. Give me a spot check.
Okie dokie. For a rogue, I'm terrible at spotting stuff.
Well, you're a B&E guy. You have to have some skills you're not good at.
Sure. I'm great at searching for things, but not spotting things, which is awful. 16.
16. Okay. So as I mentioned before, I mean, it is just chaos to your eye. This is just straight up Willy Wonka, as someone else said, Santa's workshop.
Yeah.
level, just crazy little things going by, little animated toys walking, and little noises bleeping and blooping and things like that. Especially the sound of gear and clockworks. And just you're looking through, and then as you had noted before, there is several different variations of the half of Staff of Seraphim, half of it, in various forms all over the room, hanging in staves and drawings, all kinds of things.
This guy was absolutely obsessed with the Staff of Seraphim.
Absolutely. You don't know what the deal is, but there's no doubt about that. And that's when your eye just kind of catches on something, and it is a completely ordinary satchel, just like the most boring, ordinary satchel you could imagine. There's only one thing unusual about it. It is on the wall. It is not hanging from the wall, as you would imagine, from a hook. It is just boop on the side of the wall, about 4 feet up in the air.
Oh, good. Curious. I will cautiously investigate.
Okay. So as you're walking forward, you see it is close to several strange apparatuses. Every single one of these apparatuses is making a noise of some kind. So, like, there are a lot of noises in this room, but this particular place, especially, we, the viewer, the listener, from modern times, would recognize these as sort of phonograph-type items. Distant Bells has never seen anything like this. Maybe Tix has, but such things are incredibly uncommon in this world. There's one particular that... for the closest approximation would be the old wax cylinders. And it's clearly like at the end, and it's just sitting there going ka-tum, 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 as you get closer and closer.
Like the old player piano.
Exactly. It's reached the end of the thing, and it's just hitting over and over again.
Can I search the kind of immediate area, like on the bench tops and things, for any indication of what these objects might be? Like if Prognati's like had notes about certain things, or if he's just like freeform building stuff just because he can.
Give me a. This is a tough one because it's using a little bit of different things. It's investigating. It's I would say maybe gather information.
Yep. I can do that.
Yeah, go for that.
I'm good at that. I'm really good at that.
Yeah, I think it fits the best what you're trying to do.
Okay, so I have a +10 to gather information, and I just rolled a 17, so 27.
So One, you piece together, even though you've never seen one before. These are definitely items for producing sound. I mean, one, they're producing sound, but more specifically, it fascinates you because that's what you do. These objects literally are doing mechanically what you do naturally. All of these objects are designed to record a real sound and then spit it back out. And you have never seen anything like that before. And that is utterly fascinating to you because
Yeah, it is.
it's like a mechanical you. And a couple of them, most of them are just reproducing like nature sounds, like the sound of wind and stuff like that. But there is one that is like very tenally recording a some kind of like conversation in Elven, and it's just like, hey, and you just hear someone talking interminably, like they're giving a speech or something.
How long does that go for before it clicks out?
You don't know; it's still going. You're listening to it for several minutes. The only one that isn't making a sound is the one that's just clicking over and over again.
All right. Would these be classed as magic devices? I wouldn't think so.
You suspect that most of them have some magical element to them, even though they're not like super magical. You think that their construction used magic.
Yeah, that would make sense, especially given that I did pick up a blueprint about some returning daggers that would require some assistance from a magically inclined person to build.
Yep.
Yeah. Bell's problem with magic mostly extends to its negative abilities. It's problems related to just how much he doesn't like offensive magic, and that's not magic that uses bad words. Things like big wide AoE kind of spell, things that Penton does. He's not a huge fan of that. He's just not a huge fan of like spells that like do have negative effects on people. Things like control people's minds and stuff like that. He's not. But things that are like prestidigitation, that's cool. That's fun. Penton did that and made the chalk drawings move for the kids back in the cave. That was fun. Bells was okay with that, and stuff that like practical magic, stuff that makes other stuff work. He's okay with that too, because it has a specific purpose and design that is 100% for something that is not going to. It's not offensive. It's not designed to do anything negative for the most part. So with these objects, yeah, they're magical, but he's less likely to be upset about those unless, one of them explodes into a fireball. Then he might have some problems.
Yeah, and there are definitely a few here that could be weapons, but there is so much more of a feeling of whimsy here.
Yeah.
Than there is offense, and much more of a like investigation and discovery.
Yeah. So he's probably gonna maybe try and see if there's a way to rewind the one that's just clicking.
Okay. He with that 27, it really looks like you just take it and move it to the other end.
Oh, so it's literally a record needle.
Yeah, it's a record needle, except it's in a cylinder form as opposed to circular. But you did need a high roll because you've never encountered anything like this before.
That makes sense.
So you did need a good roll in order to figure that out.
I guess I'll do that. I'll just kind of pull it back to
Yeah, and immediately you hear like a crackling noise, and then you hear a voice. You don't know who it is. It could be Prognetti. And it says,
we are now trying, this is the 432nd experiment. And now we will try the following. This is Elvish. Edro.
and behind you, you hear something smacks in the ground right behind you.
Spin and take a step back.
Okay. And as you turn around, you hear that voice again going, very interesting, very interesting. The backpack, the packet satchel, is just in a heap on the ground.
I will turn around
and the satchel is partially open.
Okay, I will turn around and lift the needle so it doesn't move anymore.
Okay, yeah, that's easy to do.
And kind of find a way to wedge it so it doesn't fall back down.
Yeah, very easy to do. There's actually a little place to put it, where it's clearly supposed to go.
Okay, then I'll put it there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a kind of a note of where it was on the cylinder and then put it there so I can go back to that if necessary.
Okay.
And then kind of get down on all fours and slowly kind of approach the satchel. Get my beak down onto the floor and kind of try and peer into the satchel, see what's inside it. The fact that it was on the wall and then fell off is curious, but it's open. You kind of want to see what's inside if you can, because it's a thing. He wants to see what's inside it.
It's very,
but it
very
was on
reasonable.
the wall. But it was on the wall, so he's not going to reach his hand in there. That's not happening.
He can see inside. By the way, the inside looks completely normal. It's not like a bag of holding and there's a vast insides or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something glittering inside. I say glittering, glimmering. Yeah. It appears to be certainly at least silver, but to your very trained appraisal eyes, you think it might be platinum. And you can't quite make it out, but it's some kind of figurine.
Oh, reflexively his taloned hand kind of edges toward the opening. You actually see Bells' other hand reach out and slap it down, no. Something in his head is just no. And he just slaps his hand and he kind of shakes it. It's no. This is thinking to himself, this is no. You don't know what this is. It's clearly magical because it was on the wall. And then the man said a thing in Elvish. He recognizes Elvish even though he can't speak it because it's everywhere.
Yes,
and it
Elvish
fell off the
is a
wall.
very common language.
So let's take a step back and see what else happens. So he'll reach back, keeping an eye on the backpack or the satchel, and kind of fumbles around for the cylinder, and then quickly turns around, puts the needle back in around the same place it was when you lifted it up. He's not perfect. Drops it, gently puts it back down, and then looks at the satchel, and as the cylinder continues to say what it was saying.
Okay. You put it back, and you again, it's fascinating to you because, with the exception of your siblings and your mother, you've never heard anyone else be able to perfectly reproduce a sound before. And it mechanically, again, his voice comes on. This is test number, and this is the number, and now Elvish, Edro, and nothing happens. You wonder if because you are, I'm assuming, watching the satchel. You wonder if maybe just the tiniest tremor goes through the satchel, just like a little wobble. But it's not like anything dramatic. If you were not staring intently at it, you would not have noticed. But you think something happened when the word was said.
Can I make an intelligence roll to make the connection between the word Edro and down or drop or something?
Yeah, I will let you make a straight knowledge check.
Okay.
And just add your, intelligence.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, it's a flat 20. Unmodified.
Flat 20? Okay.
Oh, yeah, modified, sorry.
So, like you said, Elven is everywhere. It is not as common as common, but it is very common. You are able to interpret that word means open. in Elvish.
Okay. Which would make sense because it's already open, so it can't do the same thing it's already done. That's why it's shuttering. It's like, I'm already open, dude. Come on.
That is reasonable.
Yeah. Okay, I will continue listening.
To the thing.
Yep.
He's saying,
This is very interesting. It does seem to respond. I am now going to try putting it on the wall as yes, and once again, Edro. Yes, it has now affixed it to the wall, and appears to be remaining so. Very good. And I will now attempt to insert.
and then you just hear a sound, like the sound of a scuffle, like just a big scuffle, and you hear cursing and you hear yelling, and he's going
Edro!
and he goes ah, and then there's something. What you would recognize, Lee, as the sound of like a microphone getting knocked over, just like a and then the recording stops. But you interpret that something happened to interrupt the recording.
Okay. So he tried to put something inside it, and something else happened. Apparently, I'm guessing the bag tried to eat him. That's all I've got. Because he's like, Edro. Open, stop. No. Okay. Alright, after that, Bells kind of looks at the satchel and was like, he really wants whatever's inside it. He thinks it's platinum. It's platinum. It's worth so much. Okay. How clean is the workshop? I mean, it's cluttered and messy, but how clean is it?
It's cluttered but not messy. The only thing that it's now been I think I said 6 months since he went into his natural sleep. You don't think it's been dusted in here or anything, so it has the kind of that look of disuse. But like it's just cluttered, not like gross.
Is there
not just like hoarder or anything?
Yeah. Is there like a broom or something? Obviously, he would have been doing some sweeping before he pulled his own heart out. Would he or somebody else have done some sweeping? Like, look for a broom, something with a handle, essentially.
Yeah, you can definitely find. There's actually you can find a fireplace poker.
That's perfect. That's iron. That's even better.
It's out right now, but there is a large hearth to the side.
Yeah. The poker would be even better because it's iron. So it's if I put it in this thing's mouth, it's going to be a lot better than a wooden broomstick. Because that's what he's going to do. He's going to try and he's not going to put it all the way in because if this thing does eat stuff, it's probably not going to appreciate. It's probably going to try and pull him in too. So kind of doesn't want to lose the poker because it's not his. He might be a thief, but he's not intending to. He steals things for him, not to lose them. So he's just going to kind of put the he's going to turn around so that the fire end is in his hand and the hand end is at the other end, so the handle is out, and he's just going to kind of lift the edge of the lip of the satchel gently and see what happens.
Okay. So you are ready for anything. Like you as someone who has disarmed a million traps and locks and all of that sort of thing. Like this is not unaware for you. You're ready for something to happen. You take that iron poker and you just gently. This is like the simple flap over, simple style satchel.
Yep.
And the satchel, the flap is partially open, which is why you can see part of the figurine. So you insert it into the part that's partially open, and you just start to lift it up. And two things happen simultaneously. One, something pink shoots out from the bottom of the satchel. It is wet and glistening.
Oh, this thing has a tongue. No!
It has a tongue. It has a tongue. And just at that moment where the top of the satchel is, goes pink, and two emerald green eyes open and look right at you. And the mouth of the satchel just opens and goes, chomp! And I'd like you to make a reflex saving throw.
Oh, God, yeah. I just want to say, I'll be dropping the poker.
You definitely would be, yes. But this is definitely a reflex action.
Yeah, that's okay. Whoop, don't you fall. Really? I sit in the corner of a corner desk, and that's a nat 20. So that's a 30 on my reflex save.
Yeah. So, by the way, if you had not been clever enough to put something instead, there would be no saving throw.
Oh no, yeah.
Caught.
You would have eaten me.
But you were, you. Well, and so this is what I want to show. What happens is the satchel part opens up, and that's where the tongue is coming out of, is the base. The eyes are in the flap, and it just expands out, just, and bites down where your hand would have been, swallowing the poker. However, I told you this is not a bag of holding.
No.
And so even though it swallows it, like more than half of the poker is sticking out one side, as if this face of the satchel like was trying to smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
And there's even kind of like a kind of sound from it. By the way, in that instant, especially with that high reflex I'll give to you, it does not have teeth that you can see. Now every adventurer has heard of a mimic. Like everyone has heard of a mimic. And you have never encountered a mimic yourself before.
Thankfully.
Because they're horrible.
The stories of those things that the bards and rumors tell they're not pleasant.
Yeah, there are a lot of bawdy stories in this universe about the mimics, and about people trying to use them as chamber pots and things like that. Just funny stories. But the thing that you do know concretely is that a mimic will exude out pseudopods that are sticky, that will capture you and draw you into its maw, that will then eat you. So this is different. You don't know if this is just a different kind of mimic, or if Prognetti has done something to it, or if it's been, you don't know. But this is different, and it's just it's not like attacking you right now. It's just kind of sitting there, and it's trying to work the poker into its stomach, but it can't. And so it's just kind of like going like that. And just staring at you with its two green eyes.
Part of me kind of wants to go tar and try and take the poker like trying to get something out of a baby's mouth, but
it does actually kind of feel almost like a toddler chewing on a chew toy. Like it has that feel of like a toddler or a puppy. Like just kind of like that, like it's trying to gnaw around it, but it can't.
Everything goes in the mouth.
Yep. And it has that kind of feel to it.
All right. Okay. Bells he's fascinated because this is right up his alley. He knows the stories of mimics. Like they keep things inside themselves. Like they keep treasures and things. And if you kill them, you get the treasure. But this thing doesn't this thing has possibly something platinum inside it, which means it can store things, which is perfect for him. He's like, ooh, it means I've got a thing that like I can store stuff in it that nobody else can touch because it won't let them. I just have to figure out how to make it so that I can touch it or get things in and out of this.
So I would like you to make a make sure I'm getting the right one. Listen check for me, please.
Okay, I can do that.
This is an opposed roll.
Oh, okay. Oh, 19 plus 4, so 23.
Okay. So you are utterly, like you said, fascinated by watching this thing, and it's almost kind of like calming down now. Mm-hmm. Like the mouth is just kind of like working that thing, but like
gave it a pacifier.
Yeah, really. As it seems to almost calm it after a little bit, and the eyes kind of like start to kind of flutter closed a little bit, and the tongue is like kind of starting to retract in a little bit, and that's when you hear something. And this sound is sort of halfway between the door to the exit to the great common area that where y'all had your battle with the ice devil, mm-hmm. and to Prognati's room. And it is absolutely the sound because you have been trained not to do it. It's the sound of someone who's trying to be quiet who just stepped on something. Let's say it's the same toy that Morezi broke earlier. Something steps on it and it just goes and like a little gear just goes beep 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 across.
Okay. Bells is going to spin directly toward it, drawing his daggers as he does so on reflex.
Okay, and those daggers just fly out. You see nothing, but you see where the toy is, but you see nothing.
Okay. So we got somebody invisible in here. I've been invisible a few times.
Sure.
I'm going to look at the dust on the floor and see if I can see any footprints.
Okay, I need a spot check. You do need to roll well for this. But I did say it has been 6 months.
Yes.
And so dust has begun to collect in this room.
Yes,
so you are not at disadvantage.
That's why I remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh, 21. I rolled a 19.
So you look and almost you don't see it because you're looking for footprints around your size or maybe even a little larger, like a human-sized sort of thing, or even a frost elf sized. But these are teeny tiny footprints that are making their way from Prognati's room towards the door as if they've been hugging the side of the wall when they stepped on the toy.
Okay.
So it is something small.
Very small.
Very small. One might say tiny.
I will sheath my daggers to present less of a threat. I mean, tiny things can still kill you, but this thing may not. It seems like it just wants to get out of here. And I will. The sound of. You know what? He's just going to call out, "Hello, stay a while and listen." Sorry, stay a while and listen.
Stay a while.
Yeah, so she said, "Hello, stay a while. I am not a threat. You simply scared me."
Okay.
And I will look directly out where these footprints are, so that they know I can, quote unquote, see them. Yeah, and just kind of ease out of my on edge pose and just kind of kneel.
I'm stealing this actually from another show, but I've got here my $50 that I use for dumb magic tricks.
Ooh,
and I want you to call
D2.
highs or lows.
Let's go lows.
Heads or tails is the same thing. Lows, you win. You win. I got tails. So, whatever it is, breaks for it, and you hear like a scuttering noise, and then you distinctly hear, as someone who dreams of flying, you hear the sound of small wings going, and something is launching itself into the air.
A fairy. Or a pixie or something of the Fey folk. Well, there's not much I can do. I'll just go... Bells will say, "Sorry for disturbing you," and he'll turn his attention back to the satchel. If it's an invisible fairy and it's flying, there's literally nothing he can do. Like, he's not going to run around the room swinging, trying to catch something that he can't see. Besides, he has platinum to get.
So when you turn away from it, and now you can hear the sound of cursing as something is attempting to open the door to the great, beyond the
the doors are closed.
Yeah. Whatever it is tiny, and therefore is having trouble getting this big door open. But it is trying to.
All right, well, you know what? I will help them and open the door for them.
Okay.
It is better to be kind to your Fey folk than unkind.
That is true.
And Bells knows that from, his youth years in the tower. Even wizards don't necessarily mess with the Fey folk.
Tell me one more time, heads or tails?
Let's go tails again.
Okay. I'm going to say, hey, and you open the door. Something tries to stab you.
Oh, lovely.
But it fails. It fails in its attack. And that stab is not quite a stab and more like a sting. As the stab fails on your... What type of armor do you wear for the listener?
Studded leather.
Yes, it fails on your studded leather. You think maybe because you were bending over, like it presented a more awkward target, that like it actually pierced the leather, but as you were, that angle made it longer. And as it attacks, as you know so often with invisibility, it becomes visible.
Okay.
And you are absolutely correct. It is very important, just like with Baba Yaga, to be polite to the Fey folk. There's only one small problem. It's not a Fey folk.
Oh.
It's a devil.
Oh, goody.
It is an imp.
Lovely. Okay.
And it has tried to stab you with its poisoned tail and failed.
Good.
Also, you noticed one other minor thing as it becomes visible is the reason it tried to stab you with its tail and not rake you with its claws is it is holding the hearthstone.
Oh.
Trying to get out of the door, and I would like you to roll for initiative.
Okay. Well, I took a chance, and I blew it.
It was a reasonable assumption. Hey, you know what? You that's how D&D works. It's not you can't know everything. You can't anticipate everything. You're
okay.
just doing your best.
So that's a 27.
27.
I rolled an 18, and I have a +9 to my initiative.
Yeah, you definitely go first. It has a nice initiative, but it rolled a 13.
You know what? I still have one of these. Just one, because I didn't buy any more. Oh no, I have an empty belt pouch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna catch the sucker.
You could definitely try.
I'm gonna try and catch the sucker.
That is definitely a grapple, by the way.
Oh yeah, but I should. Okay.
Now, and do remember that it does have a poisoned tail.
Yes, but that's okay.
So
I have poison
it's
making.
It's kind of like that's true. It has it's basically like catching a flying scorpion and trying to shove it into your pouch.
Well, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to turn the pouch inside out, surreptitiously. Like this is while it's still on my belt. I'm just going to turn it inside out, put my hand inside it, and then quickly pull it off my belt up and try and catch it so that I can just kind of... The bag is around my hand, and then I can just kind of grab it and then pull it up and over my hand. You know, like you collect the dog turd.
I was actually going to say that reminds me of when I pick up my dogs.
Yes,
Leavings.
exactly.
evil demonic turds.
Exactly.
And this creature is not small, it is tiny. So that is possible.
All right. These are leather pouches too, so it will take a
Okay.
little bit
And
to cut its way out if it needs to.
What you're describing is not a grapple. That is more like a attack.
Yeah.
But you would add your dexterity bonus to that, not your strength.
That's fine.
Now, I know that's helpful to you, but it's also
I just rolled a nat 20.
not 20. Okay, so just describe to me perfectly what happens when this happens.
So as I said, I while it's still on my belt and I'm kind of maintaining eye contact with this thing as it's backing away, trying to leave the door, kind of because my talons are still under my cloak, so it's not really easy to see what I'm doing. Just kind of pull out, turn a pouch inside out, put my hand inside it, and then whip my hand up rapidly and just kind of grab it by the tail. And just kind of, so its tail isn't free to do its thing, and then just, grab the neck that's around my wrist and just kind of slough it up so it's covering the whole thing. And then, normally a pouch would be like drawstring kind of thing. So I'll pull the drawstring close, but then I'll also tie the entire neck of the pouch in a knot. And then let it go and just kind of hold on to it, and listen to it rave and curse, because you can't have this Hearthstone. It's not going to happen.
Yes, so I'm going to make a reflex saving throw for it to hold on to it. It does not succeed. It rolled a 12. So when you do that, its hands smack together and the Hearthstone pinks to the ground. You have successfully restrained grapple. It's basically like a grapple with an object that you have done to this creature. And as soon as you do, this creature was red, blood red. A blue imp swoops down to grab the Hearthstone. It is, by the way, it is still from the inside. It is still from the inside of the workshop.
Okay. I'm closing the door by reflex.
Okay. I'm going to allow you to try to do that, even though that's technically not your turn.
Yep.
I'm going to allow that here, but I do need you to make another reflex saving throw.
Okay. Oh. It's plus 10, so 29.
Okay. So he rolls an 18, so he successfully swoops down and grabs the Hearthstone, and then he immediately smacks into the door, full face, right into the door. You look back for a moment, and you can see, as it slowly is sliding down the door, you can see a third imp coming at you, and it is coal black. It's just slightly larger than the others. There's something just a little bit more mean about it. It's coming, and you could see the just slowly falling asleep Satchel, kind of open one eye as it goes by, as it flies overhead, and it is flying straight at you and just screaming, just yeah. And it rolls a 12. So even with its hit, it is not going to hit. So how do you avoid this rushing tiny demon of death?
I hold up the bag with his companion up in front of me. He just bounces off that.
Just use it. It's just a ba-dunk, and you hear just the worst cursing coming from inside. You do not speak their language.
No.
But if you did, you would be hearing one saying,
Zox, let me go! Screw you, Zox! Get off me, Mox!
They're yelling and screaming and cursing at each other. And just like a blue streak is coming out, but you can't make it out. It's just this horrid guttural language. And that will actually bring it around to your turn. You have the blue one I'm sorry, the red one in the satchel. Its tail is sticking out and kind of like twitching feebly, trying to stab you, but it can't. The blue one is picking itself up from the ground where it smacked into the door, and the black one is kind of like fluttering back after hitting the satchel. I'm sorry, hitting your pouch.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? These guys are... They're kind of a risk, but more importantly, I'm going to reach and grab for the Hearthstone and slide it along the floor into the mouth of the satchel.
Very interesting. I'm going to allow you to do this as an action, as opposed to your attack.
That'll be the end of my turn, so that's fine.
Okay. And you can still move if you so choose, but or do that other small thing if you want. But I would like you to roll a just like it's basically like a throw.
Yep.
Is what it effectively is at a normal roll.
Ooh. That's a 19 plus
Okay.
my dex, so.
So you see it just across the floor. It is mostly round. It's faintly glowing green. It rolls across the ground, and as soon as it hits the satchel is just like it's like starting to go into dreamland on that pacifier-like thing. And as soon as that touches it, its eyes flare open, and it looks down and goes, and again that mouth with no teeth just closes over it and goes, and there's actually literally not just for comedic effect, there is a type sound as it goes into its belly, and it looks very like the eyes are like half closed, like it's very pleased with itself. The iron bar is still sticking out, by the way.
Yep. I will, just as my kind of like my free action, I guess, I will kind of look smugly at the coal black little imp. It's very difficult for a raven to smile, but Bells is doing it, and there's a chuckling sound coming out of his mouth.
It's all in the cock of the head. You cock
Exactly.
your head in just a way,
Yes.
and the sound you make. So taking it in order of the imps in their appearance, the blue one is going to attempt to break free.
The red one.
And so I'd actually like you to make an opposed roll.
It'd be the red one. It's the red one that's in the bag.
I'm
right?
sorry, the red one. I apologize. The red one that's in the sack. So I'd like
Yep.
you to do an opposed roll on this.
Strength?
This would be strength, just to hold it closed.
I mean, it is tied up in a knot, but okay.
Well, if it makes you feel better, imps aren't super strong.
That's fair.
They're tiny.
I will apologize in advance for the hissing noise that you may hear in the background. It just started raining, so you may need to.
Usually, I
edit
can
that
get
out.
rid of that pretty easy.
Yeah. It's got a pretty decent profile to it. Yeah. Okay. So I rolled 18. So that's a non-natural 20 on the strength check.
Oh, he actually came really close, but he didn't quite make it. And so he just... That tail is just wagging furiously, that little red tail. But he can't get out. And that will bring it to the blue one's turn. He is going to try and attack you.
Okay.
He didn't actually see the Hearthstone roll. The black one did.
Yeah.
So he is going to try to attack you with his sting. And he, I want to be clear, by the way, not using my dice. This is an app because I'm traveling right now. Rolls a 6.
Oh.
So he just is like, but he is so tiny that he just can't get at you properly from where he is. And his even where his tail is striking, it's not getting through your. Do you wear boots? I don't think.
No, I don't.
No, you don't. You don't wear boots. But say your leather cross guards you have on your shins.
Yes.
He can't quite get past those with his sting. Just ping, 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 trying to
And
get at you.
my taloned hands and feet are very calloused and thick, just because that's just what happens when you don't wear shoes. You cross a whole lot of kind of upsetting terrain most of your life. Your feet and hands are going to get used to that stuff. He is a bird after all.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So the black one, he did see the Hearthstone roll into that mouth, and he flies over, and before he acts, he takes a moment and he turns and he looks at you. He looks at you, and it is a look of just smug satisfaction. You've seen like a kid blame another kid for doing something, and the other kid gets in trouble, and then like he's just looking at the other kid like, like this guy's just a little shit, you know. And like that is what imps are.
Yes.
He turns and he looks at you, and he just reaches up with his little tiny hand, and you're waiting for it because he's sticking his hand in the satchel. But instead of sticking his hand in the satchel, he reaches above the satchel and once gently pats it on the head. And immediately the eyes open up and just get this half-hooded look of pleasure. And the mouth part just goes and opens up, and immediately the crowbar, the poker, clangs to the ground, and the two other objects are revealed, including the Hearthstone. And
okay.
Whatever else, this imp may have been in here for a while. Like maybe, I don't know, they had been charged to guard the body. And so it might be reasonable that he had seen the way to open this.
Yeah. Bells will file that away because that's important.
Yes. And he is reaching for the Hearthstone, and it is your turn.
Okay. Bells has heard a lot of Elvish, and if this word for open is open, seemingly he's heard the word for close.
Okay.
And when the imp is deep inside the satchel to get the Hearthstone, Bells will just call out the Elvish word for close. It's worth a shot.
Sure. Now that is a free action. That does not require, speaking something is a free action, so that does not take your turn. And I will also definitely say that you do know the word for close. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to see if I can find it. Nope. So you just say, Rasha! Nothing happens. Because that's not how this particular magic works. It was a really great idea.
Yeah, no,
it's just not how
it was worth a try.
It was definitely worth a try.
The other one is just the same word for open, but again, it's already open, so it's not going to do much. Unless I chuck it up on the wall.
Remember, and now there is, I do want to say one other thing. Remember that the last time when the word was spoken, it fell off the wall.
Yes.
So it didn't actually open.
Oh.
So just an FYI.
Well, in that
case,
a little
counterintuitive.
Yep. No, that in that case, I will. I'm just going to ignore the little imps. Well, the blue one anyway, and rush to the satchel, pick it up, push it against the wall gently, and then say the word open. Just repeat the word open again, and just hold it up against the wall.
Now, I have to say something here, and I know that you're good about not metagaming, so I have to ask you this.
Yep.
When you reach to pick it up, do you pat it first?
Yes.
Okay. It is reasonable that your character would do that.
Yes.
What I would like you to do is, if you're going to do this, you are going to take an attack of opportunity from the red one.
The blue one.
The blue one. Sorry. Oh, no, this is actually the black one. Sorry. You will actually take an attack of opportunity from the blue one because you're leaving his range.
Yes.
And then you will take an attack from the black one because you're grabbing it from him and then sticking it on the wall.
Okay.
So I just.
Well, I thought he was inside getting the Hearthstone.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to allow that. I said literally that he was reaching in to grab it, so I will allow that. So you will take from the. It doesn't matter. He rolled a 3, and again, you just feel this ineffectual tail just dink dink against your shin guard as you turn to run.
You just see this. I just got these images of the little blue one going. Man, I'm going home.
That's right. This sucks. I don't want to do this anyway. I've been here for 6 months. This sucks. And so you rush forward. Your hand reaches out, and I do want to hear this. Describe to me, how would you pet a satchel.
His talons would kind of, you know how you pat a dog, you're not into, like, you know it's not going to bite you, but you're not on friendly terms with it, so you use the back of your fingers, like you just kind of drag them across the top of the head. That's how I do. He'd curl his talons up a little bit so that, and then brush the top of the satchel's head like twice, and then grab the satchel and then push it up against the wall and say, "Open."
Okay. Now, again, meta gaming as well. I just want to be an honest, and this would be a very reasonable thing for you to do, but I want to know, would you say use the voice of from the cylinder when you do it? So in other words,
it's the only one I've heard.
I
mean, it's not the only one I've heard, but it's the one I've heard using the phrase.
It's certainly the most recent one you've heard,
and I know it worked for him, so
exactly.
It makes sense that the same voice, it might work again. It might not. I don't know, but yeah, on the recording he did it and it worked. So the same voice, he'd use the same voice and just put it up on the wall.
Okay. You drag your fingers across the top. The eyes flare open, and then as you drag it across, it just kind of goes. It actually makes a little noise. It is like a.
Well, this thing's adorable.
Not like an animal. It kind of is. It really kind of is. And the eyes kind of half close as you drag it across. You're running. You pick it up as you're running, and you push it up against the wall, and then we hear perfectly that voice from before, Edro! And immediately it adheres to the wall. And you hear this furious from inside.
You can't pat it from inside. I mean, he can, but I don't know if it works from inside.
It does not appear to be.
Perfect.
It does not appear to be. I do need to make another strength check from the red one. I should be screenshotting these. He rolled a 2. This is hilarious. Like, it's not my dice, it's me. It's so funny.
DM luck.
So it's DM luck, and that will bring it to your turn.
All right. Well, I've got a red one in a pouch. I've got a black one in the satchel. Let's go 3 for 3. I'll put the blue one in a pouch too. Same deal. I mean, the same thing. Like, I'll just, hand in. I've got a bunch of pouches because I'm a thief. I'll just put my hand in, turn it inside out, put my hand inside, and just kind of. I'll dive because I'm across the room, so I'll dive for the blue one.
Okay. Now, yes. So I need you to make an attack. This is
okay.
Yeah.
Oh god, another one. Okay. Nat 20.
What did he roll? Nat 20. He rolled a 3.
Oh, you poor bugger! He's having a bad day.
Tiny creatures have an advantage to this.
Yeah, they do. I'm
but a 3 is a 3.
2 or 3 classes higher than him. Tiny, small. Yeah, tiny, small, medium. So yeah, 2 classes up.
Yep. But it's if you roll that badly, and with that, it comes in, and I just want you to imagine a moment where. Describe to me how your character is holding these 2 satchels, the red one and the blue one.
They'll be so they're knotted, so they're drawstring closed and they're knotted, and he'll be holding them underneath the knot, like an alchemist would hold a flask. He's looking at inside the bulb of the flask. He'll be holding those 2, and he'll just kind of. He's still in a mischievous mood even after this. He'll just kind of bump them together, and the words kind of. Play nice now.
An
au pair or an in-house kind of babysitter or something. Like the kind of caretakers, the custodian, like the big friendly woman who takes care of the rich kids while the parents are doing whatever and forgetting they have children. So like, play nicely now. That's the voice that comes out. Very tinkly, sparkly kind of voice. And then he'll kind of and then he will, it's still on the wall, he'll pat the satchel and put the two, or say actually no, hang on, no, he's gonna tie the drawstrings of the two imps together, of the pouches, the two imps, hang them off his belt, but put the two pouches inside another pouch, so that they're all just one pouch, and then hang them off his belt, so he can feel them, whatever they're doing in there, and then just kind of, he's going to walk up to the satchel on the wall and just kind of, okay, so the first time he said it, it came off the wall, and then you pat it to open it. All right, I'm just going to say Edros again, and then catch the satchel, and just kind of gently place it on the floor and just kind of look at it quickly, because obviously I don't know if just catching it is going to upset it, or because obviously, I mean, this thing is a satchel, which means if it's a mimic, it's going to try and be what it's looking like. But if I have to pat it to even touch it, then that means it's going to open, and then the black imp is going to come out, and I don't want that. So
that is true. Well,
so yeah,
and I should say you don't know this for certain, but you think that the padding is only required in order to open it, not necessarily to touch it. You don't know that for sure.
No, I'm not 100% certain. I'm not going to try it because it could still be. It's still a dangerous thing. I mean, it might not have teeth, but it's still a living thing. And it's got some important stuff inside it, and an imp who's very, very upset right now. So my other option is, okay, how big is the opening of the knapsack?
It's the size of a normal knapsack, so it's about a little more than maybe a foot and a half across, like when it's fully open.
Okay. Okay, Prognati is a... Are there any cages, like magical cages around that might hold some imps?
There aren't any in here, but there absolutely were some cages in the great field where you, the courtyard. There were some cages there. Yeah.
But would they hold the imps? Because I thought they were...
There were some smaller ones, you think maybe for like livestock and things like that, like chickens, that might hold them. But you don't know about magical.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to risk it, and I'm going to grab the straps of the knapsack gently and just kind of hold them gently, and I don't want this to be perceived as like padding it, but I want to give across the energy to the knapsack that I'm not a threat.
Okay.
So it's like you kind of like rub, like if somebody's having a bad day, you kind of like rub them to calm them down, but I don't want that to be interpreted as a pat, so it opens up. And I don't know if it can tell the difference.
Give me a straight performance roll. Not performance, charisma roll.
Oh, okay.
It's just trying to, communicate that to it.
Just kind of calm it down. Ooh, that's nice. 17, 19.
19, okay. Yeah, it kind of like looks at you, like it's looking directly at you, and it just makes like
green eyes.
Yeah, and it makes like a little like kind of trilling noise, and you think, unless it's trying to fool you, that it's cool.
Okay. I'm not quite ready to put it on my back just yet, but I am willing to carry it. So I'm going to carry the knapsack and the two pouches outside, carefully, and find a snow elf and inquire about the cages and tell them that I have some stowaways that need some infernal stowaways that need discipline.
After you,
perhaps.
after you tell them that, they quickly are able to get in touch with the cleric, Fulrid, who y'all had found in the cave.
Yes.
And they are able to. You don't see all of this. Did I mention the Frost Elves aren't particularly nice?
No.
And they have been under siege and captured and tortured by an ice devil for the better part of 6 months. What they do to these three imps is not pretty. And you don't see it, but you hear it. You hear the screams. And they confirm that these three had been set to watch that they had been given instructions the second that Prognati woke up. They were to, inform the Ice Devil.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Ice Devil gone, they had finally decided the best thing to do would be to destroy the Hearthstone, which would likely kill him.
Yep.
And so if you had not, I assume that you want to replace the Hearthstone where it came from.
Yes.
I don't need to, check. That would be a pretty obvious thing to do.
Yeah.
No,
I'm gonna throw it down a well. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's right. Who needs this? Fun fact: they were heading for that flame that he was putting the elves in and horribly transforming them.
Oh,
that's what they were going to head for.
It's still going
to throw the Hearthstone into. Yeah. Well, it's magical.
Yeah. I'll just kind of point at it and go, "Should that go out? Did you put that out?"
They basically tell you in very haughty terms, we're working on it.
Okay.
but I do want to say one final thing is someone has become both figuratively and literally attached to you. You may now add to your inventory one baby mimic.
Oh, I have a baby mimic.
And this baby mimic holds as much as a regular backpack.
Oh.
It has a toothless maw. Anyone who tries to open it without touching it, without patting it first, or petting it, it will bite and hold for 1d6 rounds.
Oh.
And they will be at disadvantage on other attack rolls. Also, and this is just through process of elimination, you figured this out, you can put it on anything, and if you say edro, the word for open, which doesn't make sense, it should be like stick or adhere, but you don't know who made this.
It's a baby.
It's a baby. It will stick to that surface until the command word is given again.
Awesome.
And it is now considered yours. It has adopted you.
Aww. Okay, so does it need to eat? Does it need to what is the care and feeding of a baby mimic?
So it does eat. What you can kind of tell is that as you're getting to know it, you can kind of find out the things that it likes to eat. It likes to eat meat.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And it likes, like mimics, like you mentioned before, it likes to store treasure. So it doesn't want to eat your stuff. However, you do probably through process of elimination find out you can't really store food in there.
No,
because it will eat it.
It will eat it.
But it does want to eat, meat and things like that.
Right.
And as long as you feed it and care for it, it considers you belong to it.
Beautiful. This is going to be great. Okay. Does anyone able to tell me the life? Probably not, but the life cycle of a mimic or a baby mimic? Is this thing going to one day grow into a chest on my back? What's going to happen here?
The simple truth is you don't know. Obviously, like maybe Penton could tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Could tell you that.
I'm not telling him about this. No way. I'm not telling anybody about this. This is mine. Don't you go in my backpack.
Yep. It is yours. You would basically need to find somewhere where you could do research on it. But as far as you can tell now, it is a baby, and it likes you.
And that's all that matters to me.
Yep,
All right.
and that's when the portal at the chest begins to glow, and that's where we'll end. Chafing Armor. Thank you so much for playing today, Lee.
Thank you very much for gifting me this incredible item. This is wonderful.
So I want you to know that like I plan out in my head like what I think is going to happen, and then I go to play with it. What I had planned on was the possibility that it would get stuck in your arm.
Yes.
And then I was going to have the wacky misadventure of you trying to stop these 3 imps from getting the Hearthstone while having this thing hanging onto your arm.
It was very close. That I genuinely,
it was a close thing.
It was very close. I genuinely, if I hadn't kind of had that thought to kind of like, no, don't put your hand in something that just fell off a wall. Like, don't do that. Like, it very, 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 very well might have ended up that way. Because Bells wanted that platinum. By the way, does he get the platinum? Was it platinum, or was it just
Yes. We'll definitely can get to that a little later. And even more curious, it is not only a platinum, it is platinum, a solid platinum statue. A very small, like about maybe 6 inches high, statue of a kinku.
Oh.
And of all things, that is not only wondrous, but a little disturbing.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Because kinkus are not common in this world. And for you to have just happened to find a statue in there of a kinku, it is not anything that you recognize, by the way. It's not like, oh, Mom, you know. But it is
good.
It is a statue of a kinku.
Because I still need to find my other... Well, I still need to find my siblings. Backstory-wise, you can read/listen to it on the website.
That's right.
The Archivist... The Archmagister Archivist Guild knows where one of my siblings is, but Bells doesn't. So...
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it hasn't really been revealed to him, but yeah. So this is going to be interesting.
But by this time, y'all will definitely have been able to hear the backstory of Bells. So I know that we will have that out. I'm looking forward. I appreciate you writing that, Lee.
Yes, it was lots of fun.
Yes, and Miss Lalante did a fantastic job of reading it, and y'all all can check out that backstory. But thank you again for playing.
Thank you very much.
And we'll pick back up with everybody else in the next episode. But until then, we will roll with you soon.